All right. Hi, everyone. Yeah, just for a warm-up, please feel free to type in the chat the answer to a question that I have prepared for you. So imagine that you're a large language model, and how would you prefer to be called? AI agent, AI chatbot, AI assistant, or your option? Uh, and yeah, in the meantime, I have really asked the real LLMs this question, and GPT wants to be called an AI assistant, whereas Gemini says that all names fit it. So yeah, feel free to type in a chat, and welcome to our panel discussion. And today's topic is AI chatbots, the essential tool that you need, or maybe don't. Let's see. Let's figure that out. My name is Nick. I'm going to be your host today, and we all gathered not to talk you out of an idea of building an AI agent, but rather, share some tips from AI experts on how to use the technology in a meaningful way for your business. And yeah, so basically, this webinar is brought to you by Beetroot, the company that I work for, and yeah, it's also arranged by our marketing team. Kudos to you guys. Thanks for putting us all together and making this happen. Beetroot is a tech ecosystem specializing in software development, AI, and education, and our mission is to generate economic, social, and environmental impact through all our engagements and partnerships. And by the way, we, along with our speakers, will be at the Chatbot Summit in Berlin, April 1st. So if you're planning to be there, make sure to find us. We'd love to continue this conversation in person. And yeah, let's start. Let me introduce our speakers who definitely have much more educated opinions on AI agents than me, talking to GPT and Gemini, asking them, about how they want to be called. So yeah, so Cheryl Hodgkinson, CPO at Kauz.ai, an expert in AI-driven product strategy and leading innovation and customer success. How's it going, Cheryl?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
Um, Thanks, Cheryl. Raphael Cohen, founder and CEO at moojo.id. Raphael is former Google product director and now building AI-powered solutions for e-commerce. Hi, Raphael.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks. And Vitalii Huliai, tech lead at Beetroot. He's an AI practitioner balancing technical possibilities with practical realities when implementing AI language tools. Hi, Vitalii. How's it going?
Yeah,
Yeah,
if I could unmute myself. Yeah, hey, hi everyone.
yeah,
Nice
that's
to meet you.
yeah. So yeah, I know that we're all busy prepping for Chatbot Summit. So thank you very much for taking your time to join the call today. And yeah, let's go and go ahead and start with a little bit of a warm-up question that we have prepared for you. And yeah, actually, in continuation of my thorough research about asking GPT and Gemini about how they would like to be called. So there are the terms AI chatbot and AI agent that are often used interchangeably. How would you define the difference between them, and why does this distinction matter for businesses? I heard a lot of feedback, especially for some reason from people who I talked to from Israel. They were not super happy about the term AI chatbot, and they preferred AI agent to it, basically meaning the same thing. Raphael, do you have any take on that?
Yeah, I'm actually very surprised. No, I think yeah, chatbots and agents mean very different things to me. AI chatbots to me is maybe a subset of AI agents. And I think in order to understand just I'm not sure there is anything to understand. It's just like a matter of terminology that we need to agree upon. But ultimately, agent implies agency. Agency meaning the ability to take autonomous decisions, potentially using tools. So, typically it's an LLM, it's an orchestration mechanism, and it's a set of tools that are accessible via APIs typically, or now there's a new buzzwords of MCP. But typically this is what it is. And, just you give them a task objective and they figure out how to complete it, right? Whereas a chatbot is more of a conversational experience that you have with an AI agent. So like it's not there's like, to me at least, it's not that there's like one correct terminology and one that is incorrect. I think they refer to different things. Agents typically have persistence, and they have expansion capabilities. They make independent decisions based on the business objectives that they were given. They maintain context across multiple interactions and potentially different sessions, different time periods. They execute complex workflows that can span, again, multiple time periods and multiple systems. They can potentially learn also over time. They just, more importantly, deeply integrate within business processes rather than just simply responding to user requests or user queries. So it's not, to me, something that's correct or incorrect. It's more about two different terms, referring to two different things.
Yeah, now I'm more equipped for these conversations. Thanks, Raphael. Do you guys, Cheryl? Yeah, you have something to add?
Yeah, I would like to add to that. I completely agree, but I kind of understand why they are used interchangeably, kind of. Like for me, AI chatbot, also AI assistant is more of like a general term, but it's often used because like we have this idea of chatbot, like maybe from the first modern chatbot wave, where we have like traditional chatbots that usually have a very bad reputation, and they only can perform very simple tasks. So nowadays, like also from a marketing perspective, you kind of want to distance yourself from that. So I think for a time we used AI assistants, and now AI agents are the top trend topic that everyone needs to cover. So basically, I think many companies just, instead of saying AI assistant, now say AI agent, without actually meaning a fully autonomous system that works with that. In all fairness, though, I do think like agentic AI is kind of a scale. Like it's not like something is fully agentic and something is fully not. I think there's an in-between, and technology is rapidly evolving towards something that is more agentic. And also maybe we as a society are moving towards being actually open to using more agentic AI and like having AI perform more tasks for us autonomously. Like maybe like some humans, I feel, are not ready to let go completely, at least.
Yeah, thanks, Cheryl. Now I'm even better equipped for the conversations with the guys who are not happy with the AI chatbot term. Vitalii, anything to add to this?
Yeah, maybe just a few bits, if I may. So I really enjoy the idea that agency popped up. That the main difference is in particular about different systems that AI assistants can like indeed can handle complex tasks, plan in advance, spin up different multiple processes, evaluate and process huge amount of data in a way. But at the same time, like as for me, I also agree with you, Cheryl, that we used to this chat bot as some sort of chit chat where you can like shoot a question, get back some info, hopefully do not get like I cannot answer this question or not available information, something like that. And in particular, I'm trying, like in my personal view, I'm trying to combine those two. So the chatbot is just a medium of how we deliver those AI systems. Whether it's like currently we can kind of can use multiple mediums like WhatsApp, Telegram bots, this small pop-up in your web page, like emails as well. So that chatbot is like more or less like general terms that the on other part is AI, or better to say hybrid empowered human with AI systems, which can 24/7 answer your queries and questions. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Vitali. And yeah, well, let's then, it was a very good warm up. Let's talk, right on the topic. And I have a question for you that, many businesses, they experience a fear of missing out when it comes to adopting AI. So especially AI agents. So what's your take on where the fine line is between AI agents generally adding value and just being a trendy add-on? Who wants to take that?
So maybe let me offer a first take, and then the others can add to that or deliver different opinion.
Sure.
So generally, I do think like with any AI application or maybe any application, it's important that you have a clear understanding of what you're trying to achieve, and then evaluate whether AI or a certain AI application will do that for you. So I think the most common AI chatbot, AI agent experience that we have is in customer service, where it's usually about either you have a high volume of questions that need answered, or a high volume of tasks that need to be conducted, or it's highly repetitive tasks that need to be conducted. So basically, you're trying to save costs on the service side. But there are also many other areas where AI applications or AI chatbots, AI agents can deliver value. So another very common use case is knowledge management, where you finally make the company's knowledge accessible to your employees. But you might also want to use an AI agent just to have a tech-savvy image as a company, like deliver trendy image or that, or you might want to raise employee satisfaction by making their work easier, or also make have employees work at a company where they feel, okay, this company is very modern and I'm learning skills that I might not only use at this company, but that is a very, very valuable skill that I might use throughout my entire life in work, because AI is not going anywhere anytime soon.
So thanks, Cheryl. Valuable input. Raphael, Vitali, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think that's the most important point that Sharon mentioned is to me essential. That AI, crypto, cloud, mobile, whatever you do, the only thing that doesn't change is that you should start from should be outcome driven. Like, what is it that you're trying to achieve? First, figure this out, and then figure out how to achieve it. That's never changed, and hopefully is never going to change. So never start like from the technology or the tool. Start from the business problem in hand, and that's harder than ever to stay true to this principle, because it's very, very tempting to use AI everywhere. And we already have clear examples of when it actually creates more problems than it solves. First of all, it needs to be very clear that in a business context, the agent will be as good as the data that it is fed with. I had this conversation with someone at OpenAI last week, and she was telling me that it's hard for many customers to actually see positive ROI from AI adoption. Everybody knows that they need to adopt it because FOMO, right? But then you have to actually work hard to figure out the data part to make it actually useful and to see a positive return on investment. And that's the hard part. Not everybody is willing to do it. Actually, a minority of customers are willing to do it. So the second principle I would say is that agents in particular should be used whenever you want to replace a task that humans don't want to do, right? Like want, is the key word here. We talked at Moojo, for example, we talked for a long time about our vision for buying agents, right? Like sending an agent to buy stuff for you, right? And it was very tempting to think about, oh, I'm gonna have my agent pick my next running shoes, right? Those kind of use cases. And I think what we missed I missed, was that people want to buy their own running shoes, right? They actually like it. They don't want to have someone else do this for them. They actually like it. But pick their next credit card, or pick a life insurance. This is things that they don't want to do, right? And the want, right, is key here for figuring out like what use case is valid and what's probably I wouldn't say isn't valid, but is more like out there, right? Like in the future. Same for CEO agents. I could have an agent replace me for certain things, right? But I wouldn't want an agent to replace me in one-on-one with people who work at Moojo, right? Like people want to actually talk to me, right? Because they want to talk to me. Even like if a machine can replace and say exactly the same thing that I would say, it's still not the same thing, right? So I think we have enough use cases that show that AI can be, to put it mildly, not entirely beneficial if you can't figure out the data parts, and if you replace the wrong type of tasks, the one that humans want to actually do.
Yeah, so the use
Yep.
cases and the data cleanliness and preparedness for using that for AI agents.
Yes.
Yeah, Vitalii, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I just want to add, like, because as always, I completely agree with all points, and I want to maybe like just to add that the main idea, like, of course, we can be like early adopters to like just automate everything for the sake of automation, or like try it out or do because our competitors are also doing something like that. But it's definitely not working like that. You need to do like to put some efforts beforehand, like defining those use cases which you wanna do together with framework on how to evaluate your deployed AI systems. And maybe like the most important part is not that the journey only begins after you deploy AI system. You need to always constantly evaluate and track the performance of it. Apply different technologies which like kind of appearing each day to enhance your system with new capabilities, extend those, and so that not only like fear of missing out, but also like it should bring value to your business and solve real pain points in your day-to-day activity.
Yeah, you know a lot about that. I know that. So yeah, and basically another question that comes from this one is the topic about finding the right balance between AI chatbots and human customer support. How companies figure out which tasks are best to be automated or which should stay human led. Well, as we all know, that AI is not a silver bullet, and AI tools are called assistants or assistants for a reason. So yeah, how do you guys approach that? Because you come across many different businesses use cases and state of the data on their end, and like what would be your recommendations to businesses when they want to draw this line?
Yeah, maybe I can start like to just to continue on my thought process. So I think the first thing which should be probably can be automated is like common, routinely repetitive tasks which are like simple to tackle in a way. And yeah, I like the notion that which your like personal, which your staff at your company don't want to do, so that let AI to do those stuff. And in my personal experience, the best like systems are like not solely like fully AI driven, but rather like hybrid approaches where you build a system where there is a mix between AI and a human, like trained human, like in your particular domain, and also how AI built AI system in place is working, so that they can like work together and bring up synergies. This includes especially, so you should like have a clearly defined boundary when some queries are like handled fully by AI, others like by humans, or for example, customer-facing AI systems, they collect the first, they greeting a person, yeah, your future possible client or existing client, they gather their query, and then they provide some enriched context for the human to kick in. So basically, I would say like hybrid approach where humans will do what are they're most capable to do, like solving really complex tasks where there is need for some novelty or expertise in certain domain, maybe like some critical parts of your system where there's financial risks, stuff like that, so that you need to have a human in the loop just to make sure that we do not experience any hallucinations, which are innate, inherited problem of any LLM. And of course, sometimes like our customers need some emotional intelligence, which AI systems are not so good, at least for now, so that humans could be really better in this case comparing to simple AI. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
my point of view.
thanks, Vitalii. But yeah, sometimes AI is trying to be a bit more, emotional than it should be, or I don't know. Yeah, Cheryl, Raphael, would you like to extend that thought, or maybe add something to it?
I would say from a practical perspective, I think that's for a business to start by mapping their entire customer journey and identify where friction exists, and then think thoroughly about the unit economics of those friction points. Evaluating the complexity to volume ratio, or however you call it, of those different interaction types, and assessing for each one of those friction points where fundamentally human emotional intelligence delivers the most value, right? As opposed to high volume repetitive inquiries with predictable patterns. Agree that a key point is to create those clear escalation paths from the AI to human, but really where the interaction itself is the goal, not the information, but the interaction itself. When you want to create a relationship, right? I think that's not going away, right? Like you don't want to automate those tasks first, at least. But the more humans don't want to do it, right? It's high volume, it's small value, right? You want to replace this and scale this with agents. So yeah, figuring out, I think the escalation path is the tricky parts, but it can be done.
Yeah, I agree with both Vitalii and Raphael. So, but maybe let me add another perspective on that. So, if you're having a look at customer-facing interactions, it also concerns company culture. Like, where do you want to keep a personal touch? And that's usually with either complex tasks that just the AI cannot handle, or like where maybe security concerns are involved, but also maybe high value products that that you want to build trust with a human advisor that gives that recommendation, where you maybe know from your customer base that this is a product where they value human interaction over anything else. Because in other areas, also customers, and we see acceptance rising for AI chatbots in that area as well. Customers are very willing to use AI chatbots for simple tasks where it's just faster and more efficient also for them just to interact with a chatbot AI agent in some way. Interestingly, there are also use cases where it's the other way around. Like there are some use cases where humans trust AI more. Like if they don't feel like they can trust the human, like maybe the human doesn't have their best interest in mind, maybe wants to sell them a more expensive product for their own interest. So if there's a situation like that, or maybe if there's like an aspect of shame involved, like maybe I'm a bit ashamed of what I'm asking, like maybe in a medical situation where like I feel okay, I'm kind of embarrassed of asking this to a human. Humans, like customers, might actually prefer talking to an AI agent or AI chatbot rather than to a human because it just like addresses that, and they feel like, okay, I can trust this AI agent more than I can trust a human, and it won't laugh at me. It doesn't have emotion. It will be fine.
Yeah, those patterns like explain to me like I'm 5-year-old, stuff like that. So yeah, more engagement from customer perspective to build these interactions and basically to feel like more freely expressing yourself. So yeah, nice point. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for your answers. And yeah, so we say have like a AI agent that is up and running. We have a business that successfully implemented it. So that would mean that yeah, we're basically a step ahead of overcoming fears about Skynet. Then we find the right business process and implement an AI agent. And then after the successful implementation, what's next? So many companies, they launch AI chatbots, but they struggle to scale it. What are the most common scalability challenges, and how can they actually be solved?
So I think the challenge that comes first with scale is more of long tail issues. I think one thing that's very salient with the agents that's maybe characteristic of this technology is that Pareto rules, right? The 80-20. You will get a lot of value really quickly, right? Literally in a few hours, you can create a lot of value for your business. But then really nailing it is going to take a very long time, and maybe you'll never be able to do it, right? It's extreme in that sense, like more than any other technology that I've ever worked with. On both sides, like really quickly you can create amazing value, and then the rest takes forever, right? So the more scale you have, the more you will the value that you created is going to be less interesting, and people are going to pay less attention to it, and they will pay more attention to the tail, right? And to what happens in all kind of edge cases, right? And I think the reason why it's so hard is that, again, because of data. I think like the AI part, like the part of the brain, it's kind of figured out somehow, or it's like really, really good, right? And of course, like the models are improving all the time, and they're like more user friendly and. But in an organization, figuring out your data, making it digestible for agents, that's the really hard part. No one can really help you with that. You need to have a deep understanding of your own business or your own workflows, your own customers, your own users. And you need to do the work, and it takes time, and it's not fun. It's really, really hard, right? No one wants to do it. But if you want really to handle scale, that's going to be the problem, right? It's going to be how your data is digestible by those agents to make your agent actually useful at scale with all the tail cases that you have, right?
Yeah, thanks, Raphael. This is tricky part from an expectations management, because you get this wow effect at the very beginning, and then
demos setting up a demo has never been so easy, right? Like anyone can do it. Oh, hi.
Hi, Nika. Yeah, that's my daughter. Meet Nika. All right. Yeah, do you guys have anything to add to that, Cheryl?
Yeah, so
Vitalii?
I agree that also like data is a huge hurdle, I feel. So what we notice with a lot of companies is that they start off with a small POC, which is clearly scoped. You have a team of highly like experienced, motivated AI champions, AI scouts that develop that POC and it's perfect and it's wonderful. And then you're trying to scale it in the company. And then well, firstly, you need to bring more people to the table. So usually like for that POC, you've pre-selected the data and it works fine with that, but then you're like bringing in more data and maybe that data is not suitable, or maybe that data is not accessible because it's on a very like old drive or it's in all sorts of chats that you cannot access. So it's very hard to access that data. And then also to make it usable, because most companies like for us, like they start with RAG chatbots, so like knowledge management. But then if you actually want the agent to or the chatbot to do something for you, then of course you need integration. And then of course you need a system administrator, and then data security needs to be involved. Like there's a whole lot of regulation, and that kind of slows down the whole process as well, like growing within the company. And I would say there's another factor where maybe for that POC or maybe for a certain part of the company, you've selected a certain specialized platform. So maybe like you've built a chatbot for your customer support team, but now you want to scale AI for your marketing team as well. And they cannot use the same framework, the same technology for that. Or you've like introduced AI for accounting, but it's not usable throughout the company. So basically you would have to introduce like 20 different AI applications to cover your whole company. And that, of course, makes it hard to scale rather than having one application that can also be scaled to and like be used in different departments of your company as well.
Yeah, yeah, hard to add. Really nice points. I also like agree that the main challenge lies in like making data digestible for these AI systems and also bypassing limitation of underlying technology like context windows, making this data like near real time so that your AI systems can respond to user like right away instead of waiting for some other part of the system to digest and transform the data, stuff like that. Same like with even like with pricing of underlying model, you build POC, you rely fully on off-the-shelf solution, like say build something on top of OpenAI or Gemini or I don't know any other like huge LLM provider. You take those tools, build on top of them, and then like you find out, yeah, that it's on scale it starts to cost you, and then you like start looking into these open source solutions, which also has it says like it is free, but under the hood you still need to manage your servers. You need to you have the right people who will take care about this infrastructure and everything related to that. So yeah, it's I would say like this is like even more complex and different moving parts in those systems comparing to like classic software engineering where you have something built, you tested it and you shipped and everything is working and you just collect like your metrics to scale them according to their load. But with AI, it's definitely even more to that. You need constantly to evaluate your performance of your AI system, gather like user feedbacks, and tune it afterwards. So yeah, as soon as you ship the store, the journey only starts. Yeah, so more and more nuances which you experience and uncover going live. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it seems that you, Vitali, has have seen some issues with the increasing cost for the infrastructure for sure. So yeah.
Yeah, more or less. Not only there's multiple like technical challenges, same as with rate limits, and also like especially with context. I more or less like a lot of things. So first, you like do it like at least from my experience, you do it with a naive approach. You try to squeeze in as much as possible data to your like AI assistant to take intelligent decisions. You provide a lot of rules, and then at some point it starts to backfire in a way that your main intention for your AI system becomes vague and it loses its focus. And or sometimes it stucks in like indefinite loop. So at least in my like testing for some parts of the system, this is like the main points. And another thing which is related to our previous discussion is that your system should have always clear call to action when like you should stop interacting with AI and opt in to have a human involved. It should be always visible so that your customers do not overwhelm with this infinite loop interacting with AI, stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Vitalii. And before we take a look at the questions that were posted in the chat, I have one more about more of a talking about the business angle beyond just engagement metrics. So what else should businesses be tracking to truly evaluate the impact of their AI chatbots? Cheryl or Raphael, maybe you have some good input on that.
So I think it links to what we said in the beginning in a way that like for any AI or any project, it's not only applicable to AI projects or AI chatbots. Define your goal and then track whatever measures the success of that goal. So if your goal with a chatbot in customer service is to reduce costs for your customer service, well then track how much engagement there's on your chatbot, of course, how much human escalation took place. Maybe if you can measure that, like if you forward this to an external call center, like measure costs there as well. If you're looking to introduce AI in your company, then measure how well your colleagues are using that, how often they are using it, for what they're using it, etc. And I think especially important for if you're introducing AI to your employees is to talk to your employees as well, because I think qualitative feedback really is very important here because it also helps you understand why your users might not be using AI, what their hurdles are, what they're working with. Maybe there are other challenges that you just cannot measure in numbers. Like maybe So really talk to it's a change process, right? You have to really talk to your employees and take them along the way as well.
Yeah, I would say in general that the what you should measure ultimately before and after the adoption of AI agents is exactly the same. You are supposed as an organization to have a very clear North Star metric. You need to know what you are optimizing for and how are you creating value for your customers. That is not supposed to change after you use this or that tool, right? So of course, measuring engagement metrics is not going to be enough. You really want to measure, the impact on the business process, the customer journey enhancements, the economic value creation, the organizational learning. Really take all of those KPIs, understand how they ladder up to the KPI that actually matter to your customers, and how do they contribute to the ultimate value creation that your organization is supposed to provide. So whatever tool is in use, AI agent is not exceptional on that aspect, and it should always be measured against the metrics that matter to the value created for your customers.
Thanks for your input, and let's take a look at the questions that we have received through the chat. There is like one funny question about ads on a scale from 1 to 10. How would you evaluate the readiness of? I think it's about the whole community to adopt and interact with chatbots. What score would you assign today for probably all the people to use AI?
I would say it depends on actual user and knowledge of the user, how underlying technology works. So embrace the limitations of modern AI systems, especially with hallucination and like facts operation with facts on those systems. So if user is like kind of like advanced user, especially with ChatGPT or like stuff like that. So when they watched or like interest in this domain, so I would say like it's 8 or even 9 because yeah, it's really fascinating tool which empowers you to do a lot of stuff and like change your perspective on how to approach complex tasks, something like that. And for the business, I would say it's also like higher part, like 5, 6, even more, at least from my perspective.
But if it's to take average,
7 to
for a
5.
person who just has access to the internet, so you would say 5, right?
Yeah, probably 5, 6, something like that. At least from my point of view, it's yeah, hard
All right.
to 5 it. Yeah.
Cheryl, Raphael, from your experience, what score would you assign?
Yeah, I think it really depends on the industry, like company-wise, it really depends on the company, how tech savvy they were beforehand, possibly. For like end users, yeah, I would probably agree and say like 5 to 6. There's definitely some misinformation out there. I think we should really invest in educating the public and also companies in the use with AI. But I mean, adoption of AI is rising generally. So we can already see that for companies that have chatbots on their website, there's like more and more users like using an AI chatbot every year. Like we can see the numbers going up. So the acceptance there and the exposure generally rose a lot with ChatGPT. So I think there's like still a lot of room for improvement, but we're slowly progressing for sure.
I agree. Raphael?
So I think I'm going to not answer the question directly, because I think a more interesting question would be how would those users adopt this technology versus the alternative technology that makes it possible for them to complete the same workflow, right? So it's not about this adoption of the technology, but we have like to see how we compare it to the alternative for doing a task, right? And for that, I would rate this very, very high, right? Like probably like 8, 9, right? Something like that, because of course, it's always easier not to do anything, right? And not to like for this workflow not to be enabled at all, right? But even if we think of the simplest workflow that we can imagine for even in consumer use cases such as searching the internet, I would say that this paradigm is an improvement from a user experience perspective. Is just better than the old ways of doing things. It makes it more accessible. It makes it more inclusive, and you will see like more people adopting it. And is it perfect? Do you see like 100% adoption? No, of course not, right? But how is it compared to the older paradigm? Is just a simple improvement. From a pure, of course, we can debate if it's a better solution overall for society, et cetera, for what it does to centralization, decentralization, disinformation. We can talk about those things. But from a pure user experience perspective, is just an improvement. So I'm very bullish with this. I think it's a magical experience, and I would argue that the most significant impact that this technology will do is an end user experience. It will be more inclusive, more easier, like more seamless, more everything. It will create like an ocean of new problems, but that's out of scope. If we look only at adoption, I think it will be adopted by everyone better than the previous generation of technologies that enabled the same workflows.
Yeah, thanks, Raphael. And even though like we assign different scores, we all agree that it's getting better over time. So next question is about what key factors drive competition among companies developing AI-based solutions within the same domain and scale? This is the question from the chat.
Can you please repeat the question?
What key factors drive competition among companies developing AI-based solutions within the same domain and scale? Anyone wants to take it?
I'm probably going to repeat myself, but I think that the AI part is more or less commodity, right? You can do it more or less well, but that's really the easy part. Your ability to figure out where to use it, when to use it, and how to integrate it with your workflows is going to be to make a huge difference, right? Like you could say, naively, I think this is what we all thought like 2 years ago, or like the same kind of organizations are going to adopt AI in the same way. So like you will gain no competitive advantage one against another, right? But I think the reality is that it will lead to wildly different outcomes depending on how thoughtful you are about how to integrate it within your workflows, how you expand maybe the use cases and the workflows that you support, and how we integrate it with your first-party data.
Thanks, Raphael. Anyone wants to add anything, or we can take the next question? Yeah, let's go to the next one. So there is a question about like what are some of the biggest mistakes made when implementing AI chatbots and how to avoid them. Maybe any one of you have any stories to share, some quick stories about some interesting mistakes that have been made during the implementation or after it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can actually share some story. I have previously mentioned that it should be a clear path for to opt in from loop with AI so that human can kick in and solve this issue. So that I would say the main challenge is like to build a clear boundaries and a goal for any like of your like parts of AI system. So it shouldn't be like chat for the sake of chatting. Like all of your like AI agents should have a clear goal. What to achieve? Like what's the main what to achieve? Yeah, what's the main goal for this interaction? What data to collect from user? How to navigate conversation into this direction? How to structure questions to a user? Something like that. And at any this given point in time, there should be for sure like a clear path how to escalate and bring the user to resolve any issue. Because at any given point in time, like it's still like fast-paced developing domain and technology, and there are more and more nuances which are pop up, which you like hard to predict at the development time or like planning time. So that humans are still more capable to solving the inconsistencies which can pop up at during the life cycle of the app.
I would say the biggest mistake is not leveraging AI at all, like not starting. You're so afraid that it might not work out because it is here to stay. And as I think we've all pointed out, there's so much potential of making your life so much easier, making the same processes that you already have so much easier. So I think for sure, like start using AI, but of course not senselessly. Like think like get together with your team, like brainstorm, see what you want to achieve with AI, and then select a platform that can do that. So don't do it for the sake of AI. Like, of course, like have a clear use case for that. And then I think one thing that is kind of surprising to companies, I feel, is that you don't just implement it and then it's there forever and you never need to touch it again. Like, especially with chat applications, like you need to develop it further. So make sure to allocate resources both to developing the AI application. Like, this needs to be like, of course you can hire a company to help you with this. You can use a platform that has been developed, designed for this, but only you know your company and only you know your processes. So you will need an internal team to work on this, and you will need an internal team continuously. Like, maybe not in the same amount of time that you need in the first project phase, but this is a living system, and if you don't work with it, if you don't have a look at it later, if you don't develop it further, then it will just grow old and not be useful anymore.
Yeah, as we discussed, the wow effect, following the, first phase completion, and then there is, of course, quite some work to do.
Very, very in short, really, like you will see a very impressive demo, right? From and you will look amazing, and you will say like, let's just ship it, right? Because it's amazing, and you think your job is done, and not realize that you haven't even started, right? That's like the biggest mistake that's I think everyone is doing, because like we're all figuring this out, right? But that's a pattern, right?
All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of today's discussion. Again, thank you very much for your time, Raphael, Cheryl, Vitalii. Yeah, it was, it was great to have you on this panel discussion. Your input is very valuable, and yeah. And we're looking forward, to meeting you in person at Chatbot Summit. And yeah, if anyone, who has attended, this event, please feel free, to meet any of us, in person in Berlin in a couple of weeks. And yeah, here's, by the way, a promo code. If you scan this QR code that you can currently see on your screen, and you'll get a discount for Chatbot Summit ticket. So feel free, to grab your discount and meet you there. Looking forward to seeing some of you there. And until next time, take care. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. See you at the Chatbot Summit.